adventure. This trip of our canvases to paint, chainsaw for firewood. Let's see what else. Yes, and of course we can't forget weapons, Mr. Potato Gun. Yeah, that was a neat bridge. Just don't see them like that anymore. We're still on 414. Anytime I go in the Pine Creek Valley, I always stop at Wolf's General Store. Tom and Debbie, who are the owners, have really kept the place looking nice. Plus, they constantly update the store. They have the best sharp cheese I've ever eaten, and it's like in a big wheel, and you just make a slice of it. And they have the best bacon in the valley. Well, after stocking up with all my supplies, I'm going to head back into Woodhick country, where the Italians used to live 100 years ago. The road's a little treacherous, and I would not try it without my trusty four-wheel drive Bronco. This is my favorite area. Absolutely. Pine Creek to the right, mountain to the left and to the right, really. I'll probably have to repaint the truck when I get home. At least buff out the paint job. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. That's steep. Get a little close to that pine tree. Well, it doesn't get in a secluded mess. Well, that wasn't exactly easy, was it? Treacherous road. I would not recommend this without the four-wheel drive for sure. I mean, I really needed it. First thing I'm going to do is set up the tent, break out all supplies, arrange and manage all my equipment, put on a pot of coffee, check the area for animals that have recently visited. So if you know, that way you would know if maybe if you would have an animal visiting you this evening. And there are signs, there are marks on the trees or droppings, there's ways to check. And definitely don't leave any food sit out. Tie all the food up in the trees, or in this case I'll be keeping it in the Bronco. A few bugs. Then I'll probably go for a hike and, well, we'll see what we find. This is definitely the mountain. Well, a place to brush my teeth in the morning. Get washed. Well, we're standing right on a railroad bed. Right where I'm standing, there was a trestle bridge that ran across this small creek. And beyond me, the steam engine would run these spurs and bring down logs from the trees. This place is known as Little Italy. The Italians settled here because they could not speak English. This looked a little different in 1890. This was all clear-cut because it was very busy with horses pulling logs and the train pulling out of here and going down to Camel, Pennsylvania. There the logs were cut into boards for homes, also mine props, and they made wooden oil pipes. This is a beautiful place. Hard to believe this whole area was clear cut 2 times. But I have found places where the people have lived. I found depressions in the ground where their homes were built. They logged this area for about 50 years. And when the sawmill shut down, interesting thing, the town of Camel was without electricity. That went on for about 10 or 15 years until electric lines were finally brought in. This is a railroad bed. This was built in 1890. And if you look at the mossy mound areas, oh, here's one and there's one. Those are the actual railroad ties that after over 100 years they rotted and support growth. And as you walk on them, it sort of goes bumpity bump, bumpity bump. Here's a hemlock tree. This forest used to be full of these trees, so much that the sun would not touch the ground, hence they called it the Black Forest. And they're all but gone. But if you look down here, trees have replanted themselves. In another 50 years, these will be giants. One thing you have to be careful of when you're walking in the woods is rattlesnakes. They're very plentiful this time of year. You should always look where you're going. Never step over a log or a rock. That's usually where there's a snake. And also, I have seen rattlesnakes in laurel bushes, traveling from bush to bush. So don't go crashing through the laurels. Well, let's head across the creek, see what else we can find. Well, still following a railroad bed, but it looks like it plays out about here. It goes right into the creek, and I have to believe that they ran the railroad track right up the creek. I'd like to go up and see if I can find evidence of that. Yeah, down over the cliff is where we saw them trout. They're still down there, but they sure would taste good for lunch. Yep, I believe this is where the tracks ran. Right up through that gorge and onward. It's the only way they could have gotten through here. Ah, there's one. That is a brook trout. Very hard to photograph. There's bigger ones in there, but they're all under the rocks. Yep, very good. There he went. What we have here is a rock slide. This is still in motion. These rocks, over time, inch along, down this steep hill along with the help of water, and they're eventually going to wind up down there. But as you can see, this has blocked the railroad bed. You can see it up yonder, beyond this. But this is actually in motion as we speak. And there's lots of things to do here in the mountains. I enjoy painting with oils. It allows you to take in the area, allows the area to saturate. So often we just walk through places and you don't really get to see it. But here I get to study every little rock, the moss, the wet moss, how the water falls, and if I'm real quiet, I'll even see some brook trout. Well, as you can see, we're not in complete wilderness. I did run across these campers along my exposition. We have one word to say, and that is happy camping! The sleeping bag has been rolled up, tent is put away, packed out all the trash. This has been a great, great weekend. There are many campgrounds in Pine Creek Valley, many privately owned, there's 5 or 6 of them. And that's a good way to start out. Very inexpensive, something the whole family can do. And if you stay in state game lands, remember to get a permit and make sure you're allowed to have a fire. Well, I'd like to thank you for being with me on my adventure about and around with me, George Montgomery.